Hello guys, my name is Amit Sari and I welcome you in this daily UPSC MCQ series mission 2020. We are taking here 16th of August it is, and the timing of these lessons, they are coming a bit late because of some problems in the internet service here. So due to some rains, some issues are there, so I'm very sorry. So on a daily basis we are discussing these questions, and I am very much hopeful that these will be extremely useful for you in the prelims examination next year. It's a very important matter from various sources like PIB, EPW, other important newspapers, and also let's start the lesson. Today is the last day for 60% off on all these courses. You can call on these numbers and you can visit the website also. Pocket News app is trending on Google Play, and you can get the information of these videos below the video. The description is given, and for them you can call on these numbers. PDF you will get here on this group, and you will also get the Telegram channel's link here. You can follow me on Instagram too. And first question is regarding 15th of August. Why this day was chosen for Independence Day and the power transfer? There was some unique reasons. It was not the Queen's birthday at that day, and it was not previously decided for Republic Day. On the banks of River Ravi in 1929 in December, our people, Mr. Nehru and other important congressmen, they decided that on 26th of January 1930 we will get the independence, and that would be a tryst with destiny. So it was a great speech. Purna Swaraj demand was there, but that day was taken for the Republic Day after 20 years, means 1950, when this constitution was started. Now B is also not the answer. C is also not the answer, because it was not any auspicious day according to Mahatma Gandhi. It was all the decision of Lord Mountbatten actually. And D, none is the answer. It was the day when Japanese surrendered 2 years back. So it was the anniversary of the Japan's surrender. So 6th and 9th of August, 2 days were there when nuclear bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan in 1945. So after 6 days, on 15th of August, they surrendered. So that was the day taken by Lord Mountbatten, and it was all done. It's a huge history that why this happened. First Parliament decided about June 1948, but it was done 1 year back, and they decided that we will transfer it as soon as possible, so that there will be a respectable exit from India, and it would not be much bloodshed and all, but they could not stop it from happening, and the day was chosen as 15th of August 1947. Second question. Recently government constituted a competition law review committee. You see, it's a open system, market system is there. We are running a market model here, and states control is also there, so it's a mixed economy. In the market, the fair competition must be there, and to maintain the fair competition there is a body working, and the name is Competition Commission of India. There was an act. According to that act, this body was established, and that was the Competition Act in 2002. Some changes were required, and some instances were there in the recent past when some companies, they were doing some unfair practices. Suppose a company comes with a claim that we will give everything for free. All the consumers will flock towards that company, and all other companies, they will be devastated with that move. And recently we have seen the case of Jio there, and now again they have brought some issues regarding the FiberNet or something like that. It's the same Reliance company. So these kind of moves are supposed to be unfair practices, and for that they complain in the Competition Commission of India is working, and this body CCI, Competition Commission of India, that takes action against these kind of companies who are involved in this unfair practices. So first statement is wrong, because according to this review committee, they did not recommend that Competition Commission of India should be there. It was actually already there since 2002. So this is a wrong statement. Second statement, a dedicated bench in NCERT for hearing appeals under the Competition Act. This was for sure a recommendation that there must be a robust and fast process. Second, they said additional enforcement mechanism must be there for settlement and commitments, because a lot of issues are going on, a lot of mergers are happening, and they must work towards a competitive environment, and anti-competitive conducts, they must be stopped, and there must be resolution of these cases as soon as possible. So NCERT is also working for that, and additional enforcement mechanism was demanded here. So 2 and 3 are right options, B is the right option, and A is wrong here. All these recommendations are given here by this review committee. Okay, and remember, this act is very much important. Competition Commission of India is also very, very important. So that may be unconventional for you to study these kind of things, but these are important in economy, one of the most important things in the present scenario. Okay, next, Jammu and Kashmir Public Safety Act. This act was brought up by J&K government, and in 1978 it got the assent of governor there. So this is wrong to say that it was 2018. It was actually 40 years back, 1978. There were some amendments last year, and they allowed to arrest people outside the state also. And under this act, now from Delhi, Mr. Shah Faisal, the former IAS officer, he was arrested there. He was about to go to Harvard, and he was arrested on the Delhi airport. So this became a highlight here, and they may ask you about this act. It's a draconian law because without any trial, they may put somebody behind the jail for 2 years. 2 years, it's a long period. Even in the Preventive Detention Act, there are provisions for 3 months. And here, these are 2 years. Without trial, they can put anybody behind. And there can be additional issues of securities and all. So this act was started on the basis of this smuggling of timber. On that basis, this act was brought up by the state. And then some changes were brought up when this militancy came in 1990s. Then it was used frequently against the separatists, and now some other changes were also made under this act. And the law allows government to retain any person above the age of 16. Above the age of 16 means above 16 means for 2 years till the age of 18, that person is not counted as adult. But even that person can also be arrested without a trial for a period of 2 years, not 2 months. This is wrong. 2 years. So that's a draconian provision here, and both the statements are wrong here. D, none is the answer. You can read everything about it in the PDF. It is all given. It's a tough law to prevent the smuggling of timber and keep the smugglers out of the circulation. This was the starting basis of that, this Public Safety Act. And then some changes were done, and the detention orders can be issued by divisional commissioners or district magistrate, not any person below that position. And there are different sections which are bringing very questionable provisions under this act. Okay, in August 18, the act was amended to allow individuals to be detained under PSA outside the state as well. Earlier, only within the boundaries of the state they could arrest any person. So that's the case, and it gives unbridled power to the authorities. So that is also a case. Many scholars are protesting consistently against the provisions of it. Next, recently a first ever global assessment of forest biodiversity was done by IUCN. No, it was done by World Wildlife Fund for Nature, WWF. It was the first and biggest conservational body internationally established in 1961, and it comes out every year with the Living Planet report, and based on Living Planet Index and ecological footprint. So on the lines of, on the methods of this same index, they are bringing Forest Specialist Index for the first time. So that is by WWF. Second provision is correct, first is wrong. Answer would be only to B. And you can see here World Wildlife Fund for Nature 1961, and the logo is the giant panda, and these are the reports. Now many important revelations are there under it. They say that with a speed of 1.7% per year, many species are getting extincted, and many other reports it has given. It is all based on biodiversity monitoring, and especially the forest biodiversity. It is the first time the global assessment was done. Okay, one more question related to that, because these are the main regions going on which are contributing to the menace of extinction of the species and the biodiversity as well. Climate change actually has threatened the maximum populations of which group? Amphibians, reptiles, birds, or mammals? You see, under the core data system, under the core data category, there are different groups. It starts from PCS, which is the important family of these fishes, and the name is called species. Then amphibians come on the second step of the evolution. Means first fishes came, then amphibians came. Amphibians are called ubhaychari in Hindi. Means they can survive both on land and the water, and that's why they are always found in the wet areas. Third number for reptiles, the lizard, snakes, these turtles, and these crocodiles and all. So these are the reptiles category. They have scales on their skin. Next, birds on fourth number, and mammals on fifth. Mammals, we are the mammals. Dolphin is a mammal, blue whale is a mammal, elephant is a mammal, all donkey, monkey, all are mammals. But the biggest threat is there for amphibians. Most of these species in the amphibian category, these are extinct, and 90% of these amphibians are frogs today. So every year we find some new species in Western Ghat or in some other dense forest area, and they belong to amphibians mainly. So these are very specific categories and very unique and magical creatures these are. They look like snakes and lizards also, but they are not actually snakes and lizards. Snakes and lizards belong to reptiles category, and 90% of them are frogs. You can see here 43% amphibians are threatened, 37% of reptiles are threatened, and 21% of birds are threatened, and only 3% of mammals are threatened. Next, CBI does not need the consent of the state government in question before it can make its presence in the state. It actually needs that consent. A lot of constraints are there, and that's why it is called caged parrot. Central government through the way of ministries, it has many controls. It is dependent on Home Ministry for the staffing needs. Home Ministry, not the Ministry of Personnel. Administrative control is there over CBI of Ministry of Personnel, so that is also relevant. Ministry of Home is also relevant. For prosecution, it is dependent on the Law Ministry. So a lot of controls are there, and that's why it cannot perform its duties independently. Now CJI said recently, Mr. Ranjan Gogoi said that there must be a proper legislation for that, and proper autonomy must be given to it. Even the financial autonomy must be given to this body, and there must be powers on the lines of CAG, because CAG is a constitutional body. It has many independent provisions, and that's why it gives honest reporting. So CBI also must work like CAG. That is the recommendations regarding CBI. So second is also wrong, because for the staffing purposes it is dependent on Ministry of Home, not personnel. So both the statements are wrong here. D none is the answer. All the details regarding this sensitive issue are given here. Headed by the director, established in 1941 before independence, and then it was brought up under Home Department in 1946, and the powers it takes from Delhi Special Police Establishment Act, and it was given a name of CBI in 1963. Okay, dependent on the Home Ministry for staffing purpose, Law Ministry for prosecutions and lawyers purpose, and susceptible to the government's ability to manipulate the senior officers. Why? Because IPSs are mainly serving in this body, and they are under government's authority and dependence on the state government also to investigate cases. It needs the consent. It is acting according to the procedures prescribed by CRPC. So that's why again police is a subject of state, so the state's consent is needed. So a lot of constraints are there, and financial autonomy is not there, and administrative and financial control are there with the Ministry of Personnel. So that's why indirect control of central government. Next, Maharshi Bhadrayan Vyas Samman. It was given to many people today by President Kovind, and all the scheduled languages, all the 22 languages, under these languages it is not given. It is given only for 9 specific and classical languages. It was started in 1958 by Ministry of HRD. Perfectly correct. Only 2 is the answer. First is wrong, because there are 9 languages like Sanskrit, Prakrit, Persian, Pali, Arabic, and these 4 classical languages. Okay, for these writings and all, these Bhadrayan Vyas Samman is given to 30 to 45 years of age people, and carries a prize of 1 lakh rupees. So these are the scholars, and only living one, not posthumously it is given. Only living people are given this award, and a certificate of honor for the people of age 60 and above. 5 lakh rupees are given to these aged people under certificate of honor. So these 2 important awards. Exemptions, as I told you, this is not given posthumously. or any criminal cases pending in the court against any person, that person will not be awarded this award. Next, Article 344 and 351. These are related with what? JNK, no election commission, separate article. It is no administrative tribunals. These are also different. These are related to languages, the promotion of Hindi language, official languages, and a commission regarding the all scheduled languages which are given there in the 8th schedule of constitution. So regarding that, president has a duty, union government has a duty. So regarding those provisions are there in Article 344 and 351. Issue of Hindi was going on some days back, so these are important relevant articles. 343 is also talking about languages, and 348 also talking about languages. 351 and 344 all are important. This is all for today. We'll meet again tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Keep watching. It was Amit Sen.